You guys, welcome back to Pet Band Podcast. I'm your host Varnit, and today I'm thrilled to be joined by someone who's truly making waves in the pet transportation industry, Brett Furlong. Brett is the driving force behind Starwood Pet Travel and other successful ventures, and his vision has transformed how pets travel safely and comfortably around the globe. His leadership has propelled his companies to remarkable growth, but what stands out most is his unwavering commitment to ensuring every pet journey is as seamless and stress-free as possible. Brett, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you here.
Thanks so much. I look forward to our time today.
Great, great, great. Thanks for taking time and welcome to the show. So let's get started with your story. What has first inspired you to get into the pet transportation industry?
Yeah, I think I've been in the industry for over 10 years now. Met
Mhm.
my business partner who had been in before me. We started talking about kind of the future of what pet transportation could be, and I
Mhm.
got really excited about those possibilities of historically, our industry is pretty small, with
Yeah.
somebody just being in one location.
Mm-hmm.
And we both had a vision for something bigger than that. And so it was really exciting to get in and then to keep working with airlines and service providers. My passion's always been to raise the bar. I say that to my team all the time, that we want to raise the bar how pets travel. And so over the past 10 plus years, been working towards those goals.
Mm-hmm. And when you were starting, were there any other companies or competitors in this space?
Yeah. The industry's been around probably 30 plus years, I would say, and some
Mm-hmm.
very established companies. And as we started working on Starwood, it was really trying to find that niche that Starwood provided in
Mm-hmm.
the industry, and then our how we continue to grow in locations. The United States is pretty broad in how many international airports we have compared to other countries that
Mm-hmm.
have one international airport for their country, where we
Mm-hmm.
have over 10. And so really trying to grow that network of our team on the ground in each of these locations really kind of helped us
Mm-hmm.
be the ones that were handling all the components of the pet transportation move.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And I can tell you are passionate about what you do. So what personal values keeps you motivated to raise the standard in this industry?
Yeah, I think, I'm a dog owner myself. I have
Hmm.
two golden retrievers,
Yeah.
and I always use them as the kind of litmus test as I meet with airlines around the world, as I
Yeah.
visit facilities.
Hmm.
I want to make sure my pets would be the ones that would go through because for each of our customer, their pet is a part of their family.
Definitely. Yeah.
They're not relocating their pet across the world just because they
Hmm.
don't care about it. They
Hmm.
care deeply. We hear all the time, I don't mind if the car gets lost or my household goods get lost. Don't do anything to my dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't hurt
Yeah.
my cat.
Hmm.
And each one has stories. We helped a lady who had six rabbits that had to leave the country, and she said those are the only things that got her through COVID were these bunnies,
Yeah.
and she
Yeah.
needed them back in
Hmm.
Vietnam with her. And
Hmm.
these stories, they just grip your heart,
Hmm.
and we want to make sure that pets do have a safe way to
Hmm.
bring the family back together. And so that's my
Hmm.
passion and why we work as hard as we do.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And managing such massive growth must feel surreal. So how does it feel to lead companies that have experienced over 600% revenue growth?
Yeah, I think, ultimately it's our team. I'm very passionate about our people. And
Yeah.
we're blessed that we don't have turnover on our team. We
Mm-hmm.
really invest highly in our team.
Mm-hmm.
And the company is only as good as your
Mm-hmm.
team that you have in
And how
place.
many
And
team members do
especially,
you have?
we're 27 or so team
27.
members, and
Mm-hmm.
we're all remote. And so we're across, I think, 14 states and three countries, the
Mm-hmm.
Starwood team.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that's a complexity of being remote. I'm in South Florida, but we have people in San Francisco and LA and Boston and
Wow.
Denver and all
Mm-hmm.
over. And so I think for me, the passion has always been the people,
Mm-hmm.
be it our customers, be it my business partners, be it our staff,
Mm-hmm.
and making sure I use this all the time is I have a triangle that I have to keep in like perfect synergy. I have customer satisfaction, I
Mm-hmm.
have staff satisfaction, and I have
Mm-hmm.
business partner satisfaction.
Mm-hmm.
And my
All
role
are
is
three
to keep
pillars of your business. Mm-hmm.
each of those in perfect synergy. And I think that's been my passion. I worked nonprofit for 13 years before this, and I've always been passionate about people. And so I think as we've built, it's growth is exciting, but
Mm-hmm.
growth without processes and solid people
Yeah.
is really
Mm-hmm.
stressful.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And beside this, I was going through your LinkedIn. Beside Starwood, do you also have two companies in this space, right?
Yeah, we have My Pet Cab, which is a ground company
Uh-huh.
as well on that. And then other stuff I have is just boards that I'm on and things. But My Pet Cab and Starwood are the two pet transportation. My Pet Cab is a ground company.
Uh,
So that handles all of our drivers. And then Starwood is our international transportation company.
okay, great, amazing. So how do you manage balance everything so effectively?
Yeah, well, once again, it comes down to the team. I have my team are phenomenal. I pulled people from outside the industry,
Mm-hmm.
people who are very successful in other industries, and I saw what their potential was.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody goes to school for pet transportation. You're not going
Yeah.
to find a pet transportation degree. So
Yeah.
I'm really looking for people who excelled in, an area that have a high emotional intelligence, that work
Yeah.
really well
Mm-hmm.
with people,
Mm-hmm.
especially as we're remote. It takes even more. You
Definitely,
don't
yeah.
see the
Because you are
facial
not
expressions
physically
as
there, yeah.
much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so it does have the opportunity to have more conflict without understanding the person. We
Mm-hmm.
had people that worked for us for 5+ years that had never met one of their coworkers.
Wow.
And so, like, we've had to
Mm-hmm.
go in and get everybody together and fly people down for events just to make sure our team really. And so, my team's phenomenal. I can't brag on them enough, but they're the reason why we continue to
Wow.
grow
Mm-hmm.
and why we have over four
Mm-hmm.
thousand five-star reviews because our
Mm-hmm.
customers see, the passion our team has.
Mm-hmm. Talking more about the business growth, so what specific strategy do you think have been the biggest contributor to the success of Starwood, and your other pet companies?
Yeah, it's a great question because there's moments I feel like we've done well and there's moments I feel like we failed. And
Mm-hmm.
so what we've seen the best growth in is continuing the verticals we have and making
Mm.
them stronger.
Yeah.
Some of our failures have been trying to go wider with new
Mm-hmm.
service offerings
Basically,
and
just
things that
doubling
didn't
down
work
on
out.
something that's already working.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And because I think what we see is people recommend us to their friends, coworkers, and the more we double down into our core,
Mm.
the
Mm.
more we've seen our volume continually grow.
Mm.
And we've really spent a lot of money recently, the last 3 years, on technology
Mm.
too, because I think, we live in a society where I can watch my dinner on a delivery app. I can
Yeah, yeah.
watch the whole, drive to my house.
Mm. Mm.
But historically, pet transportation has been no news is good news. And so,
Mm.
24, 48 hours of transport, hey, if you don't hear from us, that's good news.
Mm.
That's not what a pet parent wants to hear.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so we've invested heavily in technology to help people understand the process. I
Mm.
travel every year around the world to
Mm.
our top destinations with a film crew to
Mm.
film what it's like on the ground, to give
Wow.
people a visual of where the pet goes in the airplane. I've
Mm.
been on the tarmac in Australia with loading one of our pets on a plane from Melbourne to Brisbane,
Mm.
and really to kind of help people understand what's the process like. And
Mm.
so I think we'll transport, thousands of pets a year, and
Mm.
none of my team stays up at night wondering, like, will the pet make it safely? But the reality is, when we ask, 50% of our customers, their
Mm.
top concern is pet safety.
Yeah, yeah,
And so
definitely.
it's not one of our top concerns because we know the process, we know how
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
done, and we
Mm-hmm.
all that. But
Mm-hmm.
we have to keep reminding ourselves that our customers
Yeah,
are
yeah.
still
Mm-hmm.
very anxious.
Mm-hmm.
And so, how do
Mm-hmm.
we develop material,
Mm-hmm.
video,
Mm-hmm.
technology that helps people understand that process?
Mm-hmm. Beside all of this, like, are there any certain sort of like challenges you guys are facing in like growing?
Yeah, I think, COVID was, of course, a challenge for
Mm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
everybody.
Mm-hmm.
For us, we use commercial airlines, and commercial airlines stopped flying.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was a huge, we had customers waiting for a year and a half
Wow.
for their pet to be able to go. And so that was a huge. transition. It made us pivot a lot of things on our ground network. We had just developed, I had an advisor that was the retired president of FedEx, and we
Wow.
developed an entire ground network for transportation for pets. And then
Mm-hmm.
COVID hit, and no driver would stay in a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And so then we had to pivot and we bought five 45-foot RVs, and people lived in RVs while transporting pets. And,
Wow.
I think in these moments, I'm an optimist to think that there's always opportunities. The question is,
Mm-hmm.
where are they?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that it's not stressful. There's many, many sleepless nights trying to figure out how we were going to save companies. But there were good opportunities that arose from it. And I think now our biggest, kind of future thing is how do we continually, handle more volume, but make
Mm-hmm.
sure the customer experience is high,
Mm-hmm.
but keep our costs down as much as
Yeah.
possible so the
Mm-hmm.
price of pet transportation doesn't just keep going up and up and up and up.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Starwood Pet is often like described as a leader in this field. So what do you think makes it stand out from other pet travel companies globally?
Yeah, one's its size. It's, we have, like I said, we have drivers on the ground, so we don't outsource nearly as much as
Mm-hmm.
others. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's our team, it's our, policies, it's our vehicles, it's our monitoring, it's
Mm-hmm.
our training. And so that's a huge help for us. Also, like I mentioned, the technology. We have an amazing customer portal because
Mm-hmm.
the process of getting your pet somewhere is, Australia now is like a 9-month process. And
Wow.
and that's a long time to wonder what's going on. There's a lot of vet appointments. There's a lot of things that have to be done in exactly the right order. And
Mm-hmm.
so it can be very stressful. And so having a great online tool that walks people through, they can print out a one-page PDF and just hand it to their vet and say, this is everything that needs to be done, at
Mm-hmm.
this visit. They can see what we're doing. They can track their pet during the move. All
Mm-hmm.
these pieces, I think,
Mm-hmm.
for us are, have kind of put us um, different than our industry
Mm-hmm.
because technology, I feel like we are on the forefront of how we use technology
Yeah,
inside our
definitely.
company and then public facing for customers.
Mm-hmm. So are you talking about the system that you're talking about? Is it like the Starwood Pet Travel Portal and Care Tag system? Is this some? Oh, wait.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a great tool for people,
Mm-hmm.
when they sign on with us, they get invited in. Basically, it's overwhelming at first because a lot of times people they're relocating themselves too. And
Yeah,
so they're
yeah,
moving houses, but a lot of times they're changing either jobs or position in the company. So
yeah,
it's a very stressful
yeah.
time. And you
Mm-hmm.
throw the pet component on top and it's like,
Yeah.
man, just
Mm-hmm.
that alone is stressful. If, not and so what we want to do is take every move and we break it down into 5 steps and to say like let's not think all the way down, like let's take today's step.
Mm-hmm.
And so they log in, they see a video. This is what's going to happen in this step. And we're going
Yeah.
to celebrate when this step is done. But we're only going
Mm-hmm.
to focus on those tasks and they can see what their tasks are, what our tasks, what the vet's tasks. And then so it kind of takes this difficult process that keeps getting more and more difficult. 2024 created a lot more rules and regulations
Okay.
across the world
Mm-hmm.
for travel. And it takes a complex thing and kind of breaks it down into 5 easier chunks.
Mm-hmm.
And so we always tell people like, if you follow this process, your pet
Mm-hmm.
will arrive on the time we set with you.
Okay.
And so it kind of helps them say, okay, I don't need to think of this step at step 5 because I'm at step 2 right now. And so we're going to
Mm-hmm.
focus on that. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's been a huge help for our customers and made them
Mm-hmm.
kind of the stress level go down during the planning time.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, definitely. And after helping families relocate their pets, like I'm sure you receive plenty of heartfelt feedback. So what do pet parents usually share with you after the successful relocation?
Yeah, the best for us is knowing that the family's back together. Like that makes
Mm-hmm.
everything for us. And you just see the excitement when people send us
Mm-hmm.
videos of the reunion.
Mm-hmm.
And we hear similar things every time. This was my area I was most concerned about in travel, but I'm so thankful I hired a company.
Yeah.
to do it for me.
Mm. Mm.
It was sometimes people say it was more than I thought because people think that pet travel is just a couple $100,
Mm.
and it's not. Airline cost
Definitely.
alone, or
Yeah.
depending on the size of your
Mm-hmm.
pets, are in the thousands of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but what we hear time and time again is, it was might be more than I thought, but I'm so happy I spent it
Mm.
because the amount of stress and the amount of concern and what we see is sadly because people will come to us last minute that they were doing it themselves
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
missed a step.
Mm.
And in our industry, it could be like the craziest thing. Some countries, if your date is not day, month, year, you have to
Mm.
start again. And
Okay.
so you could be months back, and people have start dates for their job. They have to, they sold a house, they're moving into a new house
Mm.
in
Mm.
another
Mm.
country,
Mm.
all
Mm.
these things. And to find
Mm.
out now my pet
Mm.
is 2 months
Mm.
later than I thought
Mm.
because something as
Yeah.
small as,
So do you think like
some
people are
countries
not
it's blue
educated
ink.
about this, like the whole relocation things of pets?
It just changes so frequently.
Okay.
Like there's so much changes. And so,
Mm.
and there's some countries you can't do it on your own. And there's some airlines that won't work with the public
Mm.
just because there are so many things. What happens in our industry is countries set the rules,
Mm.
airlines have to abide by the rules. And so if an airline doesn't, if a document's wrong or whatever, the airlines can get fined
Yeah.
for
Mm.
these. Now, the airline can't turn around and pass that on to the customer.
Mm.
And so the airlines eat it. And so there's a lot of airlines kind of shifting from accepting
Mm.
public bookings to now only accepting companies like ours that
Mm.
have the security clearances and all those pieces
Mm.
that, they know that, okay, documents are correct, crates are correct. Okay, that's an easier kind of booking for us. But it feels like at times there's moving targets. A lot of people go to social media,
Mm.
and the problem is there's people who moved 2 years ago that give
Yeah. The
advice
whole
and say
process
this
has
is how
changed
it's
now.
done, and it's
Mm.
changed. And so we
Mm.
hate that when people come to us because,
Mm.
there's countries where you can't speed things up, and it is what it
Mm.
is. And so
Definitely. So looking ahead, like what trend do you think will shape the future of this specific industry?
yeah, it's interesting. So millennials are the highest, the demographic that owns the most pets right now.
Mm.
And there's a big difference in kind of how millennials view their pets compared to, generations before them. We're seeing in the kind of relocation side that the household goods, baby boomers used to travel with an entire household. If they moved overseas, all their furniture was important to them,
Yeah.
everything moved. And you're talking a container load of
Mm.
household goods. Now
Mm.
you're seeing millennials be like, nah, I don't, there's no attachment to any of this furniture. I'll just buy new
Mm.
stuff,
Mm.
over there.
Mm.
But my pet is the biggest piece. And so
Mm.
we've heard from multiple corporations that they've never had pet relocation a part of their relocation budget.
Mm.
And now they're getting a lot of pressure to add the pet
Wow.
relocation. So we're
Wow.
working with a lot of large
Mm.
corporations on helping them implement their pet
Mm.
policy and things.
Mm.
And so I think pets are going to travel a lot more.
Mm.
Governments are cracking down a lot on kind of the fake service dogs that are out there where you can go online and, make your dog a service dog.
Mm.
And so governments are really starting to crack down on that. They're cracking
Mm.
down on pets in cabin, just because they're trying to organize like pets coming into the country. They got to start tracking these things better, especially in the United States. Like a
Mm.
lot of rules have changed this year. For the
Mm.
first time ever, we have
Mm.
quarantine for 100 countries. If pets are arriving from 100 countries,
Yeah.
if they don't do pre-stuff, they have to go into
Mm.
quarantine. And we've
Mm.
never had quarantine in the United States. And so
Mm.
I think a lot's going to keep changing.
Mm.
But the good thing is, as we've worked with airlines really close over the last 5 years,
Mm.
airlines are really investing in their pet product, which makes us very happy. We've
Yeah.
pushed really hard with airlines to keep investing. I'm excited, and in February I'll be in Doha visiting Qatar's new multi-million dollar pet facility that they
Wow.
built in Doha.
Wow.
So any pet transiting through Doha goes in this
Mm.
amazing facility now
Mm.
before their next flight. And we're happy that Lufthansa, KLM,
Mm.
lots of airlines have invested in a pet transit facility. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think we love to see these airlines continually investing in their pet product.
Mm-hmm. And how do you keep up with all these changes?
Yeah, it's when you keep your focus on one thing,
Mm-hmm.
you can handle it. You can have the ability to make the pivots and the changes that you need to. I
Mm-hmm.
think when you get really wide and you're
Yeah, yeah,
moving
yeah,
pets
definitely.
and
Yeah.
you're moving cars and you're moving
Mm-hmm.
household goods and all these other things,
Mm-hmm.
then you know, but I think for us, it's, staying in our lane and then continually trying to be on the forefront of the change. We work very closely with the US government. We work closely with the
Okay.
airlines, foreign
Mm-hmm.
governments. And
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of times we know about these changes before
Mm-hmm.
they're happening because I'm sitting in a room with people at the Australian quarantine
Yeah.
about the future of where things are going. So we know ahead of time so we're able to prepare.
Wow, amazing, amazing. And you guys also support military families. So like with their pets and like how do your military pet travel discount and services work?
Yeah, it's a huge passion for all of us. My business partner is a veteran. My
Mm-hmm.
dad was a veteran in the Navy.
Mm-hmm.
I have two brother-in-laws that were in the Army. And so it's a huge passion of ours. We're really happy that in 2024, for the first time ever,
Mm-hmm.
pet relocation reimbursement was in the Department of Defense budget.
Wow.
And so now military members, if they are PCSing, they get a
Mm-hmm.
reimbursement for pet travel up to a certain amount. And so we're working continually trying to raise that amount for the military members.
Mm-hmm.
We give extra things that cost on our side that normal customers pay for. We give that for free to military members. And we really work hard. A lot of military members, budget's tight. And so we work really hard to try to help them on what they're able to do that'll save
Mm-hmm.
them some money,
Mm-hmm.
and
Meet
then
with
what
them in
we
the
can
middle, yeah.
do
Mm-hmm.
to keep them moving. And so,
Mm-hmm.
it's a passion of mine is, pet shipping can get expensive. And so we quote every customer on three categories, economy, business, and premium
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because there's some people that have the funds and want
Mm-hmm.
you just to do everything, and that's fine. But there's others that are on really tight budgets that are using a firm to spread out payments. And so we really try to help each person find the budget that works and then help them understand what that means for what they're going to do to
Mm-hmm.
what we're going to do.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Talking more about your hiring process, like what qualities do you look in foreign like people for joining your companies?
Yeah. So for me, it's a couple fold. One, high emotional intelligence is a big thing. You work with the public,
Yeah.
be it other staff, be it our customers, be it
Mm-hmm.
airlines, government.
Mm-hmm.
You're working with the public, and so having somebody that is able to handle stressful people is really important for me. Second, because we're a remote organization, you have to be self-motivated.
Mm-hmm.
I use the same line anytime I'm hiring somebody. If you need me to tell you what to do Tuesday at 10, then this is not the right company for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna get really frustrated because we're just not set up that way. That's not me. That's not the team we've put in place.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, the beauty of what we've kind of created on our companies is we want people to have flexibility. We're not clocking in at a certain time and clocking out. We want people, if they're friends in town, that they can go off and have a couple hour lunch and enjoy. But they know they're what they need to get done. They get it
Mm-hmm.
done.
Mm-hmm.
We have staff that will spend the summer in another country,
Wow.
traveling, and they
Mm-hmm.
do their job from there. And it's a big passion for me because I've always said that I want to look at the whole person, not just the work side of their life, because whatever is going on in their life does come into work, no matter how
Definitely.
strong you
Yeah.
think you are. And
Mm-hmm.
so we intentionally, even part of our benefit package, we do things to make sure people are healthy. And
Mm-hmm.
so not only do we
Mm-hmm.
give like vacation time for people to leave,
Mm-hmm.
but I pay for part of their vacation
Wow.
because I see that's a huge component. Also, I think being healthy is a big component. So we
Mm-hmm.
have money that goes out for healthy living. So if you want to buy running shoes or exercise bike or something on that side, we will pay for that for you
Wow.
because we know you're going to be better with our customers
Mm-hmm.
when you're healthier. And so I think for that, like I love looking at the entire person when we hire.
Mm-hmm.
But it's for those who can kind of fit those qualities that they don't need, they can thrive off of, owning their job and doing
Mm-hmm.
it on their own.
Mm-hmm.
We have supervision, we have all those layers, we have HR, but at the end of the day, we really want somebody to know their job. They wake up, they do it, they're done. And so those pieces are really crucial for me.
Definitely, definitely. And let me go to back to one last question that was, so can you explain the difference between the economy, business and premium option that you provide for the pets?
Yeah, it's really just based off of like how much is Starwood going to do and how much are you going to do on your own,
Okay, okay.
is really the differences on it.
Mm-hmm.
So a premium is going to be a full white glove. Our
Mm-hmm.
drivers are coming to your house to take the
Wow.
pet to the vet every single time.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be delivering at your new location.
Mm-hmm.
Economy might be that you're picking up at the airport at the end instead of a driver doing some of that. So
Mm-hmm.
we really want the opportunity that wherever the budget, your personal budget sits, that we can really make sure that there's an option for you because
Mm-hmm.
we don't want pets to have to be rehomed purely based off of money.
Yeah.
And so we want to keep your family together. That was a passion for us, especially with the military.
Mm-hmm.
And if military families have kids, it's hard enough to relocate with a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you can't keep your pet,
Yeah,
as well. Like it's a big hit to that child. And so we work
definitely.
really hard to figure out, what's going to be the cheapest airline. And it might have a layover, but, it's
Yeah.
going to save you a
Mm-hmm.
thousand dollars. And so we try really hard to make sure there are opportunities for every single
Mm-hmm.
budget.
Mm-hmm. Is there any service that you provide like a private plane, like hiring someone? Is that also you guys do?
Yeah, we have some corporate clients. We had a dog that went from Switzerland to Seattle and flew private with
Uh-huh.
a chaperone the entire way. That's kind of one side. We have, some professional athletes that their pets
Uh,
can't fly, and so we have private ground transportation that'll take them when the season's done, take them back to where they live, and so we really try to work with each person to understand their,
mm, mm,
specific needs
mm,
and find the solution that works right for them.
mm. So, Brett, this section is rapid fire fun questions. So, what's the most exotic animal you have ever had the chance to transport?
Yeah, we've done a grizzly bear for a
Oh,
movie
grizzly
from
bear?
LA. Yeah, from LA to South Africa.
Uh-huh.
We've done a lion.
Wow.
Highly poisonous spiders
Uh,
that we're going to a facility in California, a zoo. So yeah, those are some of the crazy ones.
so like those specific like requires a whole set of different conditions.
Yeah, the grizzly bear, you got to work with the trainer
Yeah.
that owns the bear. We were just facilitating the travel, so working with the airline
Mm,
to get it on the plane, making sure it had everything that South Africa required for entry. They'd never imported a bear before.
yeah.
And so the bear was only going to be there for a couple weeks.
Mm,
And so, yeah, a lot of work to get that there. So
mhm. That's quick question. What one thing about pet transportation that most people wouldn't expect?
I think the planning time. I think
Mm,
people think it's
mm,
like booking our own flight.
mm,
I can book, a flight 10 months down the road.
mm,
We have a lot of planning that goes into it, but the craziest thing is the booking of the flight is our last piece. Some
mm,
airlines only let us book 15 days before the travel date. And so people want us to finalize a travel date months in advance, but we can't
mm.
even book a flight until 15 days before. And
Yeah,
so pets travel very different than people do
definitely.
when it
Mm,
comes to a booking process.
definitely. And managing multiple companies must keep you busy. So how do you like to unwind after a long day?
Yeah, my family, I have three kids and a
Mhm.
wife. We love being outdoors. We love being adventurous.
Mhm.
And so for me, it's the healthy rhythms of we travel during the summer. And so I'm able to work from somewhere different than where we live. And I think for that, it helps me mentally. I'm also a runner. And so I
Mhm.
love to
Wow.
run. And that's kind of my kind of nobody can bother me when I'm running. I'm not answering phone calls, and so it's a healthy time for me just to,
Mhm.
focus on my thoughts.
Mhm. And if you could take your pet on a dream vacation, where would you go?
Yeah, man. I'd love to, my kids are wanting to go to Australia and New Zealand.
Mhm.
The planning time is too cumbersome to take pets for a
Yeah.
vacation because it's a
Mhm.
9 month planning time. But I think there's just so much beauty over there that, my pets love being outdoors. They
Mhm.
love, we're in Florida, but they've been in snow. And so anything outdoors, my
Mhm.
dogs just thrive
Mhm.
off of or in the
Mhm.
water. So
Mhm.
I'd love to take them over there.
Mhm. As a CEO, like what's your favorite part of the day in your role?
It's working with my team.
Mhm.
It's, coming up with the ideas of where we're moving and seeing my team perform and do it better than I could ever do it.
Mhm.
Them completely surprising me on an idea that I have and then
Mhm.
making it better than I thought it could ever be.
Mhm.
um, them using technology in ways that I didn't even know that could happen.
Mhm.
Those are the things that I just thrive off of. I get off a call. I'm one that tells my team all the time, it's best idea wins. It's not my idea wins.
Mhm.
And I've had ideas that have failed miserably. And the team, does a new idea on it, and they thrive on it. So we like
Mhm.
that kind of culture of best idea wins. And so when
Mhm.
I see them being wildly successful, it just makes me very proud.
Mhm. Let's say somebody wants to get into this industry, or let's say in the pet industry specifically. So what one piece of advice would you give them? Someone who's just getting started.
Yeah, I think anything you go into, be passionate about what you're going into.
Yeah.
And passion will get you started. Then I think having your business plan
Hmm.
sustains you. I
Hmm.
don't think passion on its own will sustain
Yeah,
you.
definitely,
Um,
definitely. Hmm.
and so having a good concept, I met with a guy last week that was contemplating coming into the industry and just
Hmm.
really kind of walking him through like, what's the business plan? Where are you moving? Where are you going to be in 3 years? What's different of what you're offering to somebody else?
Yeah,
I think that's the piece, no matter what industry you're in, anything can be a crowded field. And so
definitely.
what sets you apart from
Hmm.
it? And just saying we're better doesn't why are you better?
Yeah.
What makes you better? What are you using that makes you better?
Definitely. And if you weren't in the pet industry, like what other career do you think you would pursue?
Oh man, that's a great one. If I didn't need any money and I could just do whatever, I would love to I love making people's dreams kind of come true.
Uh-huh.
And so I would love to work something on travel
Self-help,
or
self-help,
something.
something like.
Yeah, just something on travel to make, we were on a cruise and, they had like the concierge and, the people that really like make special things happen. And I love that. I love that we do that for people and, in
Mhm.
pet travel. And I just think any time to make somebody smile, especially kids, to have a good opportunity, I think that
Mhm.
goes a long way.
Mhm. And you must have got a lot of amazing feedbacks from the client. So what's the best one that really stuck with you?
Yeah, I think we messed up a big move and it was it made the pet like wait a couple months and it was a high level executive at a Fortune 50 company. So not a
Wow.
small company.
Mhm.
And it delayed the pet leaving for a couple months. And the person at the end gave us a 5-star review. And for
Mhm.
me, it's mistakes will happen. Now, we put
Definitely,
a
yeah.
lot of things in place that would never happen again on that mistake. But
Mhm.
it's always for me, it's not will a mistake happen? It's how do we right it when it does happen? How do
Mm.
we empathize with the person if something changes? How do we, I use this example all the time that there's a coin and it has two sides. It's the end of the world and it's a no big deal. In
Mm.
any conflict or any stressful thing, both sides of that coin are going to come in. So if we mess up your move and you call us and we're like, yeah, but the pet's going to go out in 2 days, you're going to be like, no, it's the end of the world.
Yeah,
Like my pet
definitely.
was supposed to. If you call us and we're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. We are on it. I have my entire team.
Mm.
You're going to be like, oh wow, thanks so much,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and so like training our team to
Mm-hmm.
like
Have
handle
high
ourselves in
EQ,
those
that's what
ways.
you were talking about. Mm.
Yeah, and I think, when we can mess up a move and delay a pet for 2 months and get a 5-star review, it really means that some of these things that we've put in place are coming
Mm.
through. And
Mm-hmm.
for me, those are, that was a really powerful
Mm-hmm.
and to hear that, I would use you guys again and I'll
Mm-hmm.
recommend you. Could have been a bad situation and we were able to turn it around.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So this is the last section. So where do you see your companies like in the next 5 years?
Yeah, I think ultimately it's continuing our expansion. I think
Mm.
Starwood will move international with more international locations.
Wow.
And we will continually um, push technology
Mm.
and efficiencies in our team, where we'll see team members be able to handle more. We want people to have access to the tools they want when they want it.
Mm.
My wife is a prime example. Her best research time is like 11 p.m. to midnight when our kids are in bed and I'm already asleep. And so for a company, it's not thinking 9 to 5. It's how can she get all those resources she would need at that moment?
Mm-hmm.
And so really, continually pushing on the video side for us, making sure it's very transparent of how pets travel.
Mm. Mm.
But I think that's where I want to see us move. That I don't want to see our staffing continually grow, grow, grow. I want to use technology to keep our team really core that they can handle more volume, but
Yeah.
it's a passion of mine to really take care of staff.
Mm.
And I think as if you just keep growing, 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 it's harder to
Definitely.
take
Yeah.
care of them. And I want
Mm-hmm.
people that make really good money, that are deeply passionate about what we do, that have great technology tools that allow them to do more work in less
Mm.
time.
Mm.
And whereas we grow, we can just keep taking care of them and their families.
Mm-hmm. Or are there any like new services or ideas like you are going to introduce?
Yeah, customs clearance. Starwood used to just do U.S. exports of pets leaving the United States.
Mm.
We have moved a lot more into custom clearance of pets
Mm-hmm.
arriving into the U.S. And so that's going to be a big growth opportunity for us in 2025. We have our on staff a customs broker now. We're doing everything in house, and that's a passion of mine is trying to do as much under our umbrella as possible.
Mm.
We can control that. We can make sure it hits our quality. The
Mm-hmm.
more
Not
we
outsource it.
outsource to
Mm.
others, you lose that.
Yeah.
And so we will add more locations for our driving team, cover new airports, and we're gonna, it's 2025, and for the future, it's definitely growth for us. It's not status. It's we will be in more locations
Mm.
and being able to continue our growth.
Definitely. So, Brad, this has been such an insightful and inspiring conversation. Thank you so much for sharing this.
Thanks so much. It was a great time with you.
Yep, yep. It's clear that your passion for pets and their well-being drives everything you do. And it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the Pet Brand podcast. To all listeners, if you are interested in learning more about Brett's incredible work or Starwood's pet travel, be sure to check out their website, follow them on social media for updates and tips on pet relocation. I will share all the links in the comment section description below. And yeah, that's it.
Thanks so much, Vernon. I really
Yep.
appreciate your time.